Chapter 1 Lear, the Pioneer Lord. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Glorious Era 8775, July 5, the main plain of Nor, the Griffin Kingdom, and the city of Loran. Sir, Administrative Officer, the town of Nad was captured by a group of Blood Naga yesterday evening. All the more than 1,300 people in the town had their hearts removed, and no one survived. The Falcon Knights found their traces in a passage to the underground world 20 miles away from the town. The Guard Army is currently gathering, and there will be 3 squadrons of the Griffin Army to participate in the clearing. The Chief Administrative Officer of Lowland City, with a hooked nose, blue eyes, a semi-bald head, and a belly slightly larger than that of an 8-month pregnant woman, sat behind a desk filled with documents. He looked at the subordinate reporting in front of him through the gaps in the pages of the book, and his tone was unkind. Those damn underground bastards, sooner or later they will be cleaned up. Send 20 clerks to Kennard Town to handle the funeral affairs, and at the same time select a new mayor to go there, and then recruit residents from the refugees in the city to fill the town's population. As you command, my lord. Has the village that was destroyed by the ogres last month been built? Not yet. It is expected to be at the end of the month, but the recruitment of residents is very slow. The village has been destroyed 3 times this year, and the refugees in the city are unwilling to go. The administrative officer rubbed his temples with a headache. Is it okay for you to figure this out on your own? Sir, this is the application list for Pioneer Lords that was just submitted. Wasn't the list submitted 5 days ago? Sir, someone submitted it again the evening before yesterday. He said with a bit of hesitation. Perhaps you will be interested. Hearing what he said, the administrative officer also became a little curious. He took the list and flipped it several times before seeing the names of the additional personnel. Lil Ayres? The Ayres family? There was a bit of emotion on the fat face, and finally he sighed. That guy Els has been dead for 10 years. Has his family fallen to the point of becoming a pioneer lord? Who is this Lil Ayres? Where does he live? Sir, this person is the only blood descendant of the Els family. He moved to the 9th block 3 years ago. 9th district? Yes. After a long silence, he closed the document with a complicated expression. Send it to the Grand Duke. When his subordinates left, he looked out the window, dazed. In the 9th district, this street is regarded as a sewer and garbage dump by the nobles of Lorraine City. Robberies, thefts, murders and other evil deeds happen every night. The air was filthy, filled with the pungent stench of urine and sewers, and flies were everywhere. This is a dirty place that outsiders are unwilling to take a second look at, and even missionaries who are keen to convert the lost to our God rarely set foot. But this filth-ridden area is home to more than 100,000 poor people. Lear walked through the winding alleys, carefully avoiding the filth on the ground, and stepped over puddles of black and smelly sewage. The stench of the air made his eyes red. The poor people who passed him had dull eyes and pale faces. Most of them wore tattered linen clothes, and some of them even had more patches than the original fabric. Some older residents stepped directly into the stinky water pool, letting the black water wet their trousers. They looked numb, like living corpses that could move around. Even though he has been in this world for 3 days, Lear still can't bear all this. After speeding up and turning a few turns, I came to a low house covered with black moss. I looked at the rusty lock on it and let out a long breath. With a slight twist, it opened directly without a key. Push the door open and enter. The room is about 10 square meters, without any furniture. There was a tattered, calf-high bed in the corner, with only 2 blackened blankets on it. The 4 walls of the family have the most intuitive image. Lear didn't mind it and sat on the bed, but felt so tight as soon as it stuck to him. With a smooth touch, he took out 2 fist-sized pieces of bread from under the bed, black and hard as rocks, with a deep tooth mark on them. Brown bread. He gave a wry smile. Dogs would hate this food, but it was his food. Putting the brown bread aside, he stared blankly at the wall next door through the window half an arm's width away. Time travel. It sounds light and airy when you say it, but when it actually falls on you, you realize how heavy it is. After all, he sacrificed his life by going into the water to save others. Why was he allowed to come to such a fucked up world? The level of civilization in this world is about that of medieval Europe, but it possesses extraordinary power. There is even a god. The gods in charge of power are high above, and they often punish people by destroying cities and annihilating people. Sects spread the glory of God everywhere and preach that God loves the world. The evil dragon occupies the mountains and deep valleys, often plundering treasures and destroying towns. Demons, undead, and all kinds of evil beings perform bloody sacrifices every day to please the evil gods. Evil beings in the underground world appear on the surface from time to time, killing humans. Various powerful races are raging in the wild, and they may attack cities and towns at any time and slaughter civilians. Wars continue, and racial disputes are as fierce as sparks. Materials are scarce, the means of production are backward, civilization has stagnated, extraordinary people enslave the world, class solidification is serious, and knowledge is monopolized by aristocratic sections. All the elements are almost gathered. The body he occupies is a descendant of a down-and-out noble. He has no awakening power, no family wealth, and no social status. He is an ordinary person with no sense of existence. Ordinary people are like pigs in this fantasy world with extraordinary power, inconspicuous and at the mercy of others. Even wanting to live a stable life is a luxury, because the family wealth has long been dissipated. The original body can only survive in the poor places like the 9th block. What's more terrible is that 3 days ago, the original body actually applied to inherit the title that had been deprived of the family. According to the law of the Griffin Kingdom, the descendants of nobles who have been deprived of the title must become pioneer lords if they want to inherit the title. Little elves, you are back. I heard that you applied to inherit the title. That a low voice at the door interrupted his thoughts. Lear turned his head and saw a middle-aged man in his early 50s leaning half of his body into the house, looking at him with a little worry. His hair was gray, his hands were covered with calluses, and his body was a little thin due to long-term lack of nutrition. Lear, who had the memory of the original body, immediately recognized the other party. The current neighbor Jem worked at the dock. When he was young, he was also a powerful knight and knew a lot about the outside world. He has a cheerful and generous personality. Even in the slums, he takes good care of his original self. He fainted from hunger several times, and it was the other party who took out food to save him. Uncle Jem. The middle-aged man looked at Lear's pale face, opened his mouth, wanted to say something, and finally sighed. Why bother? Do you know what is in the wilderness? Orcs, barbarians, scavengers, vampires, drow elves, half-snakes, cultists, and undead. There are passages connecting the dark and dangerous underground world, space cracks connecting to the mysterious and terrifying other planes, and there are ancient evil spirits and demons who want to subvert the order. There is no word of safety in the wilderness. The Empire has not conquered this area for thousands of years. Although it is a bit difficult to live in the city, at least you can still survive. Go to the wilderness and become a pioneer lord. Everything is out of your control. I know you want to inherit the title, but this time, alas. Jem's tone is very complicated. When the other party moved to the slums 3 years ago, his childish face was still in front of him. He watched this kid grow up and couldn't bear to see him die. Baron Els died of an old injury 10 years ago, and within a few years, the family had declined. The law of the Griffin Kingdom stipulates that after the death of a noble, if no one inherits the title within 7 years, the title will be automatically lost. The first condition for inheriting the title is to be an adult at the age of 16. There are many unreasonable rules under this careful examination, but it has been passed down without resistance from the noble class. There seems to be a secret behind it that makes people keep it a secret. As the only descendant of the Els family, Lear just turned 15 3 years ago. The Els family, which no one can inherit, was directly expelled from the noble sequence, and the descendants of the nobles who lost the title want to inherit the title again. They must become pioneer lords and occupy new land for the kingdom. But is it so easy to be a reclamation lord? The Griffin Kingdom was established for 2,200 years, but it only encroached on thousands of miles of wilderness. But what is the price? Over the past 2,000 years, the bodies of the land reclamation lords can be piled up into a magnificent mountain. A magnificent city can be built on the sea. How many land reclamation lords are there alive? Jem took a deep breath. Grand Duke Loran will personally approve each land reclamation lord. I just hope the Grand Duke will not allow it that he swallowed his words halfway through his words and turned his head alertly to look at the entrance of the alley. Lear noticed something strange and looked through the crack in the door. Tap. A soldier wearing black armor, with a soaring falcon pattern engraved on his chest, a hooked nose and blue eyes, strode in with a cold face. After approaching the house, he confirmed the house number on it, walked past Jem, strode into the house, and handed a yellowed paper to Lear. The blood-red seal on it was particularly eye-catching. Griffin Empire, Grand Duke Loran, the soldier spoke stiffly. Lil Els, your application for Pioneering Lord has been approved by the Grand Duke. Gather at the Grand Duke's mansion at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to receive pioneering materials and choose a territory to be pioneered. This is the pioneering order and the document of succession to the baronial title of the Els family. Congratulations, you have taken back the title of your family, Baron Lil Els. After saying the routine words, without waiting for Lil's response, he turned around and walked out of the house with an impatient and cold face. The stench along the way almost made him explode. If it weren't for the military order, he would never step into such a ghost place in his life. Damn it! Giving orders to such a whimsical poor ghost, there is no oil to be made. There are always ignorant people who want to rise to the sky in one step. What a place is the wilderness! He, a high-level knight of level 10, dare not easily set foot in it. He also wants to open up territory and build towns on it. Isn't this a dead end? After the messenger sergeant left, Jem looked at the document in Lil's hand and fell silent. Lear looked at the document in his hand and was speechless. His original body was really overwhelmed by the hardship and hopeless life. He thought that he would die if he stayed here, so he might as well take a chance, inherit the title, and fight for wealth outside the city. However, before he could go, he fell down because of his weak body. Now, he wanted to fulfill the other party's dream of becoming a lord. According to the Griffin Empire law, those who actively apply to become pioneer lords, refuse to go to the wilderness, or fail to carry out orders under other excuses, will be treated as deserters and hanged. In this world with extraordinary power, even escaping is impossible. Lear took a deep breath. His eyes were a bit complicated. In this world, is it so difficult to even survive? At this moment, a blue light suddenly appeared in his mind. The light gradually condensed and then turned into a panel. It showed dense text dash. It is detected that you have become a lord. The intelligence system is automatically turned on. This information can be refreshed. Intelligence system. Lear stood up. The joy in his heart exploded directly. There are more than 2 million words of fine wanding novels. Global lord, starting to become a desert lord is more exciting. Those who like lord farming can try it. Chapter 2 Intelligence System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The intelligence system will refresh the information every 5 days. Today is the 5th, and the next refresh will be the 10th, 15th, 20th, 25th, 30th. Then it will return to the 5th again. 5 pieces of information can be refreshed each time, and the value of the information from low to high is from 1 star to 6 stars. Every time it is refreshed 10 times, a piece of information worth more than 4 stars will be refreshed. The information in his mind made Lear's surprise overflow from his chest. There is a way to survive. Taking a deep breath, he looked at Jem, who looked worried. Uncle Jim, thank you for your concern. I'm fine. I need some quiet time alone. Jem gave him a long look. Lear, I still have some connections in the Adventurers Guild. If you need anything in this regard, feel free to tell me. As he spoke, he gently pressed the middle finger, index finger, and ring finger of his right hand between his eyebrows, and then waved it toward the sky. May the goddess favor you. Then he closed the door softly and left this closed and low house. Lear watched the other party's back disappear and took a deep breath. Ordinary people in this world can't even take care of themselves. It's so rare for someone like Jim to value friendship and help his original self so much. He quickly adjusted and immediately looked at the blue panel in his mind. Follow the information given by the intelligence system and refresh the information silently. The next moment, new text was displayed above. This is the first time the intelligence has been refreshed, and the value of the intelligence has been additionally improved. Information worth more than 5 stars must be refreshed once. .0. Any extra surprises? With Lear full of expectations, 5 pieces of information appeared on the blue panel in his mind. 1. Dean, the clerk who distributes supplies to the pioneering knights, after a night of consideration, is ready to accept a bribe of 100 gold coins from the Roar family. Tomorrow, he will secretly apply for special pioneering supplies and give them to the new pioneering lord, Oak Row. U. Intelligence value, 1 star. 2. Tomorrow morning, a group of ogres will attack the windmill town 120 kilometers north of Loran City. The number of ogres exceeds 100. Intelligence value, 1 star. 3. The 13th stall of the 9th Street Market, the red leaf tree saplings sold are the saplings of the magic plant, lava fruit tree. Intelligence value, 2 stars. 4. The eldest daughter of the Loran family, level 1 Loran, the magic plant she has been searching for, blue crystal grass, is located 200 kilometers northwest of Loran City, in a valley full of lilies. Middle. Intelligence value, 2 stars. 5 refreshing, there were 5 pieces of information in total, and one was being refreshed. Lear couldn't wait for the one that was still being refreshed, and immediately looked down from the first one. The first is information about the bribery received by Dean, the clerk who distributed supplies to the pioneer knights. 1 star, not much value, accepting bribes is too common in this extraordinary world ruled by nobles, and the other party is still in the preparation stage. Special development materials are prepared for nobles whose families have had glorious experiences. The L's family is only a barren family and cannot meet this point. This item is indeed of little value to him. The second is the ogre's attack on the windmill town north of Loran City. 1 star value. Ogres are powerful creatures that have reached level 6. They are generally over 3 meters tall and very fierce. This piece of information was of limited value. He had never heard of that windmill town. The value of these 2 pieces of information 3 and 4 reached 2 stars, and the value immediately soared. The 13th stall of the black market in the 9th block sells red leaf tree saplings, which are the saplings of the magic plant, lava fruit tree. Magical plants are quite rare in this world. Lava fruit is the main ingredient in alchemy potions. Taking it alone can quickly restore magic power, and the price is not low in the market. One can be sold for 10 gold coins. Ordinary people can only earn 5 or 6 gold coins by working hard for a year without eating or drinking. This kind of magic item is a luxury item that ordinary people can't even imagine. Now the saplings of this magical plant are being sold as red leaf tree saplings. What are red leaf trees? They can be seen everywhere outside the city. They can become useful in 3 years. The wood is sparse. Its only feature is that it is not prone to insects and is cheap. Poor people like to use this tree to build houses. The prices of the two are vastly different. This is a huge profit margin. I will go there immediately and buy those seedlings no matter what. Lear's spirits perked up. The 4th information is also very interesting. The eldest daughter of the Loran family, the magic plant she is looking for, blue crystal grass, is 200 kilometers northwest of Loran City. What is this place? The largest city in the northern province of the Griffin Empire, Lowland City. The Loran family is the controller of this city, the only master. This city exists because of this family, the eldest daughter of the Loran family. What kind of person is she? Flower of the North, princess of Loran City, a magic genius renowned in the empire. At only 24 years old, he became a level 16 archmage, possessing the power to destroy cities, and was hailed as the rising star of the Griffin Empire. One order can affect the fate of countless people. The value of the magic plant itself suggested by the intelligence may not be high, but once it is found by such top nobles, its value will inevitably soar. Lear ponders the value. If this information is used well, enough development funds may be obtained. At this moment, the 5th piece of information was quietly refreshed, but unlike the other pieces of information, this piece of information actually shone with a golden light. Lear looked at it subconsciously, and the 6-star symbol at the end made his heart suddenly stop. The highest value of information is only 0.6 stars. This piece of information is a golden 6-star. After reading it carefully, the blood rushed from the back to his head, and his eyes were bloodshot. He suddenly grasped the document with 5 fingers. 5. In the black market of the 9th block, a tomb-robbing gang stole a turbid crystal from an ancient tomb. It will be sold at the 23rd stall at the entrance of the black market when the sun just rises on the morning of July 8th. This item is the broken Godhead of the swamp god. If you drip blood on the crystal, you can control this part of the swamp Godhead. Information value, 6 stars, gold, full stars. The broken Godhead of the swamp god. Lear felt dizzy when he saw this key information. God is the most powerful and terrifying existence in this world. It is the ruler of this world. Now, the opponent's power is revealed in front of us, at your fingertips. Gold information worth 6 stars, so terrifying, so terrifying. Chapter 3, Making a Fortune in Quiet Places. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lear took a few deep breaths but still couldn't suppress his emotions. He didn't expect the intelligence to be so powerful this time. The first refresh will refresh the intelligence above 5 stars, and it will directly refresh a full 6 stars. Golden Legend. He immediately had the most intuitive understanding of the value rating of intelligence. Unfortunately, each refresh in the future will be random, and only once every 10 refreshes will there be a 4-star or above intelligence. Refresh once every 5 days, 6 times a month. Today is July 5th, and it will not be until August 20th that intelligence above 4 stars will be refreshed. If it is a guaranteed refresh of 6 stars, I dare not think about it. That fragment of the Godhead must be obtained. Thoughts turned. The problem now is that he is now penniless and may not be able to afford the goods sold by those tomb robbers. Robbery is far from enough. He hasn't even condensed the seeds of magic. He is just an ordinary person. How can he rob with his head? First use the previous intelligence to earn enough resources and then seek 6-star intelligence. After making a decision, his eyes quickly locked onto the third piece of information, which was the fastest and easiest to obtain and verify the reliability and authenticity of the information. He did not hesitate and immediately stood up and went to the corner, moved half of a tightly fitted brick, and took out 3 silver coins from it. This was the last savings of the original body in this world. 1 copper coin could buy a fist-sized piece of black bread that could be used as a weapon. 100 copper coins could be exchanged for 1 silver coin. These 3 silver coins could provide him with 3 or 4 months of food, at least to maintain life. To make a fortune, you have to rely on these 3 big guys. He stood up, closed the door and left home, heading straight to the market in the 9th block. Although it was a slum, more than 100,000 people needed to live, and where there was life, there would be trade. After walking in the winding alley for 20 minutes, a bustling market appeared in front of him. Both sides were densely packed with stalls. All kinds of food and daily necessities were sold on them. Most of the people who came and went wore coarse cloth clothes, with more patches on their bodies than the others. Their faces were pale and haggard, and they didn't look very healthy. They bargained hysterically when buying things. They could smile for a long time if they could save a copper coin. The original body often came to the market to buy food, and was familiar with this area. He quickly passed the gathering area of the vendors and entered the main market. There were slightly fewer people here, and the patches on the clothes of passers-by were also significantly reduced. From time to time, he could even see a few civilians dressed well. The 13th stall, he counted silently and quickly found his target, a larger store, which sold all kinds of fruits unique to this world. There was a large area of saplings on the outside, with more than 10 kinds. A thin-faced, lame middle-aged man who walked with 1 foot high and 1 foot low was taking care of it at the moment. Lear was about to speak, but suddenly he saw a faint inverted triangle tattoo under the rolled-up sleeves of the lame man. That is the unique mark of the notorious gang in the 9th district, the Pure Blood Brotherhood. Human trafficking, opening casinos, smuggling, robbery. There is almost nothing that the Pure Blood Brotherhood does not get involved in. Many shops opened in the open are tentacles used by these underground forces to find targets. Young and beautiful girls, wealthy customers, will be recorded on the list. The target of this trip cannot be exposed. Take a deep breath and calm down. Glancing around, I saw the target of this trip, the lava fruit sapling. The sapling was covered with stinky mud, with only a few fiery red leaves exposed. From the leaves alone, there is no difference between the red leaf tree and the lava fruit. the lame man heard the footsteps and immediately turned his head to look. The shabby clothes on Lear made the other party frown. "What do you need, sir?" "I have fresh fruits and various fruit tree saplings here," Lear said softly. "Sir, I need to buy green fruit saplings, longleaf saplings and redleaf saplings." The saplings they bought were common ones, and the lame man was too lazy to say more, pointing to a pile of muddy saplings. "They are all here. I just received them this morning. 1 silver coin is 20. Choose what you want." The price is 5 copper coins per sapling, which is moderate in the market. Seeing that the other party was too lazy to pay attention to him, Lear made up his mind and did not hesitate to carefully select from the saplings. Starting from green fruit saplings and longleaf saplings, he finally chose his target, lava fruit. Unfortunately, there are only 12 saplings of this 2-star magic plant, and he couldn't buy more. In the end, he spent 2 silver coins and bought 40 saplings. Then, like the people around him, he naturally bargained for the price. The lame man looked better for the sake of the silver coins, but when he heard that Lear was going to buy 40 saplings with 1 silver coin, his mouth twitched. After a long time of hesitation, he finally couldn't bear it any more and gave him 5 more saplings, asking him to get out of here. Seeing Lear leaving with satisfaction, he couldn't help but spit. The kids in the slums are all things that have never seen the world. They still want to bargain for such a small thing. However, the 2 silver coins made him feel much better. He was thinking happily about which prostitute he would visit in the evening. Lear carried the saplings and shuttled around, bypassing several complicated alleys without making a sound, and left the 9th block. Saplings half the length of an arm, 45 of them plus the mud, are not considered heavy. This thing is really worthless, and it is covered with stinky mud, so passers-by are too lazy to take a second look. Lear looked around. Square-pointed buildings extend out along the street. These houses are between 3 and 7 stories high and low, and they are jagged. Most of the exteriors are decorated with colored flowered glass, which is exquisite and gorgeous. From time to time, you can see noble ladies looking down from the windows or children lying on the windows. There are large plaster reliefs carved on the exterior walls of the buildings, which either sing praises to the benevolence of gods, or praise heroes, or spread the glorious history of Loran City. This beautiful work of art makes people's hearts sway. Such a glorious scene forms a sharp contrast with the dirty and smelly 9th district behind him. Let Lear feel a strong contrast and irony. Life is a gorgeous robe covered with lice. Without the intention of appreciating the magnificence of this magnificent city, he silently stopped a carriage and carried the sapling to the center of the city. As the sun gradually sank into the earth, Lear stood in front of an exquisite and luxurious manor. The fountain in the center of the gate emitted a large amount of mist, and a rainbow was flowing in the air. The wall, which was more than 10 meters high, was almost stronger than the walls of many small towns. There was an exquisite little angel statue at every distance on the wall, looking up at the sky, grinning, or scratching his head in thought. It was covered with roses, and bright flowers bloomed on the branches and leaves. Like a dream in the light mist, the water droplets on the petals were crystal clear, and bees came and went, buzzing. There was no need for too much explanation. Just one look would tell you that this manor was extraordinary. Lear took a deep breath and strode closer under the stern eyes of more than a squadron of guards. "Stop. This is Rose Manor." Lear raised the sapling in his hand. "I found the magical plant that Her Highness Philena offered a reward for, the blue crystal grass." Chapter 4, Philena Loran, the Flower of the North. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4, Flower of the North. Philena Loran. When the soldier heard this, his eyes moved slightly. A tall, majestic knight wearing a silver helmet and a bloody cape slowly stepped out. The black armor on his body exuded a cold light. Under the setting sun, he came to Lear and looked at him carefully. "Where is the blue crystal grass? Are these saplings in your hands?" His mission is to eliminate all hidden dangers. This guy holding a muddy sapling does not look like a noble. It is simply a joke to let a civilian break into the manor like this. Rose Manor is the residence of His Highness. Lear's tone was calm. "Sir, these saplings are not blue crystal grass. I know where the crystal grass is." The burly knight raised his eyebrows. "In other words, you don't have blue crystal grass?" that his eyes suddenly became very dangerous. Lear looked directly into the other person's eyes and said slowly, "No one will risk their lives to come to Rose Manor to coax His Highness." The other party was non-committal. Lear was good at tempting. Whether there is blue crystal grass or not, you can tell at a glance. There is no possibility of deception. Your Excellency has done your duty admirably. All you need to do is deliver the news to His Highness. It will relieve His Highness' worries. Your Highness will have his own decision as to what he wants to do. If there are any mistakes or omissions, I will bear the same responsibility. Your Excellency will at most have a reputation of wanting to share the worries but not finding the right way. I'm afraid His Highness will still have to think a little of Your Excellency." After saying these words, the knight with the golden helmet moved his eyes slightly, his expression softened, and he was about to speak. Herod, a sound of horses roaring came. Lear turned his head and looked subconsciously. 7 pure white unicorn horses pulled a flower carriage entwined with blooming roses and drove slowly from the corner of the street. The wheels pressed against the bluestone street, making a crisp sound. Wherever I passed, the plants on both sides of the street seemed to be blooming in spring. They immediately straightened their branches and leaves and became crisp and vigorous visibly to the naked eye. The roses on the wall were swaying in the wind, as if they were alive, cheering and jumping for joy. Even the air is filled with a unique fragrance. This scene is like a budding goddess driving a divine chariot. Herod. 7 pure white horses slowly stopped in front of the gate of the manor. The driver was a blonde girl wearing a gorgeous dark blue dress. She had an excellent appearance and an even more impressive temperament. Even the ladies of some top nobles are no more than that, but she was so beautiful. She was just a maid driving the carriage. The other party got out of the carriage and slowly opened the door of the rear compartment. The next moment, a graceful and tall figure slowly got out of the car. Her skin is as white as jade, as soft as a child of 3 or 5 years old, and her face is exquisite and flawless, as if it was carefully carved by the gods from pure white jade. It can be described as perfect. The blue eyes are as bright and deep as gems, exuding a soul-stirring light. Even if a mortal just takes a look at them from a distance, they will be addicted to them. Her long brown hair seemed to have lost gravity, floating gently in the air. The concave and convex body is wearing a pure black robe with rose pattern engraved on it, which is luxurious, noble and elegant. Every move of the other party reveals endless mystery and elegance. Philena Loran, the eldest daughter of the Loran family and the real princess of Loran City, she was a magic genius who was promoted to a level 16 archmage at the age of 24. The proud daughter of heaven, the pearl of Loran City, the flower of the north. The guarding soldiers all had their right hands on their chests and lowered their heads in the most humble manner. It seemed that even one more glance would be blaspheming this noble and holy princess. The world of Nor has 2 main paths to transcendence, the knight and the mage. By condensing the seeds of life, you can become a knight, continuously strengthen your body, and step into the extraordinary. This road is further subdivided into professional branches such as warriors, swordsmen, thieves, etc. By condensing the magic power seeds, one can control the magic power and become a mage. The levels of mage are divided into mage apprentice, junior mage, intermediate mage, high-level mage, archmage, as well as the more powerful crown mage and the top extraordinary mage. Each level is divided into 3 levels, so the world of Noel has clear level distinctions. Levels 1 to 3 are mage apprentices, levels 4 to 6 are junior mages, levels 7 to 9 are intermediate mages, and levels 10 to 12 are high-level mages. Level 13-15 high-level mage, level 16-18 archmage, level 19-21 crown mage, level 22 and above are the world's top extraordinary mages. When you awaken the magic seed for the first time, you can become a level 1 mage apprentice. As your magic power grows, you can upgrade to level 2 or 3. After reaching level 3, you need to make a breakthrough before you can be promoted to a junior mage. Every 3 levels is a hurdle, and so on. The end point for most mages is to be an intermediate mage of levels 7 to 9. High-level mages who reach level 10 to 12 can already enter the Royal Academy of the Griffin Empire as a professor, or join the Mage Legion as a leader. The Archmage can already cast powerful 4-ring war magic. As long as he is given time to prepare, he can directly destroy half a city. It is a strategic force. At this moment, the Princess of Loran City is a level 16 Archmage. More importantly, Philena Loran is only 24 years old. She is the youngest magic genius in the history of the Griffin Empire. There is almost no doubt that he will become an extraordinary mage in the future. Extraordinary mage, in the huge Griffin Empire, there are only a few people who rule over a territory with hundreds of millions of people. One can imagine how dazzling such a character is. This flower of the north not only enjoys a high reputation in the city of Lorraine and the northern province, but also has huge influence in the entire empire. This is an existence that can still attract the attention and respect of the empire even if she no longer has the title of Princess of Loran City. After Philena Loran got off the carriage, she seemed to sense something and looked towards Lear. His eyes stared at the muddy saplings for a moment. Is this a lava fruit sapling? Seedlings of this magical plant are rare. When the burly knight saw the other party's eyes looking in this direction, he suddenly became excited. His eyes were full of heat and he held his chest and bowed again. Welcome to you, your highness. Lear looked at the other person so excited that his hands were shaking and his eyes were slightly narrowed. He also knew that this flower of the north was like a saint in Lowland City, considered a goddess by everyone, but I still feel a little bit emotional about Big Brother. As for that. He looked at the other person calmly, put his right hand on his shoulder politely, and nodded slightly. A noble meeting ceremony was performed. Greetings, your highness. This action made Philena's eyes move from the sapling to him. His eyes showed a bit of amusement. I hear your conversation echoing in the air. Do you know where the blue crystal grass is? The air echoes with conversation. Lear deeply felt the difference in the otherworldly world. With this thing, wouldn't it be easy to solve crimes and catch rapists? Of course, it's best not to go to the hotel to listen. Looking directly into the other person's bright blue eyes, he said slowly. I accidentally learned about the location of the blue crystal grass and heard that His Highness offered a high reward. Philena was stunned for a moment, her face looking a little strange. Are you doing it for the reward? Lear nodded naturally. Your Highness, I have inherited the family title and will become a pioneer lord in a few days. Before she finished speaking, Philena already understood. I need to refine a special potion, which happens to use blue crystal grass. It's worth a lot to me. What do you need from me in exchange for you? It seems that His Highness has never done business before, so he is quite straightforward, Lear said solemnly. Philena looked at those dark, calm eyes without the slightest hint of color or fear. He looked at the patches on the other person's body again, showing some interest. It seems that you are also a determined person and have your own ideas. Can you tell me the location of the blue crystal grass first? After getting it back, I will definitely give you a satisfactory reward. Lear is not ambiguous either. 200 kilometers northwest of Loran City, in a valley where lilies are blooming. The value of intelligence lies in its realization. If the information is sold to those in need, the value obtained will be greater. Seeing Lear so neat and tidy, Philena was a little surprised, staring at him with jewel-like eyes, curiously. Aren't you afraid that I will break the contract? After all, I am the Princess of Loran City in your mouth. If I break the contract, no one will believe your accusation. Lear looked directly into the other person's eyes, glanced at the intelligence panel, which showed the gleaming 6-star intelligence, and said calmly. Not afraid. You may not be able to pay the price of breach of contract. Chapter 5, First Pot of Gold, Rich Returns. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Your Excellency, are you so confident? There was a little more fun in Philena's eyes. Lear smiled. Your Highness has a reputation that is admired even by the children in the 9th district. Why would you deceive me for a mere piece of blue crystal grass? Philena's sapphire eyes narrowed slightly. These words were naturally false. What made her slightly interesting was the unshakable confidence and determination in the other person's eyes at that moment. It seems that as long as he dares to break his promise, the other party can really do anything. He smiled and looked at the silver-helmeted knight who was still excited. Raquel, take someone to retrieve the blue crystal grass and set off immediately. After receiving the order from the goddess herself, the knight's energy suddenly soared with an exaggerated momentum. Kneeling on one knee, his eyes were full of heat. "I obey your orders, your highness." That firm and sworn tone made Lear quite touched. For people in this world, it is a great honor to be able to say a word to such an imperial noblewoman, but he was not among them. Not only did he not feel honored, but he actually wanted to laugh, just stand up and kick. The long flaxen hair floated in the air, making Philena look mysterious and extraordinary. Slowly raised his head and looked at the sky. He whispered a spell in his mouth. The next moment, a crisp eagle call echoed through the sky. A huge black shadow swooped down from the sky, casts a huge shadow on the ground. Hu. The air roared, wings flapped, and cyclones rolled wildly. The black shadow slowly fell to the ground, the head of a falcon, the body of a lion, and a pair of eagle wings with a wingspan of more than 10 meters growing on its back. Amber eyes were as sharp as arrows, the beak is sharp and curved like an iron hook, full of fierceness. Griffin. The foundation of the Griffin Empire. It is also the most powerful force in Lowland City. Every adult Griffin has the power of a high-ranking knight, and the highest level can reach level 12. This is the level at which one can command a small force in the Royal Legion. The Griffin stood on the ground, with a shoulder height of more than 3 meters. The lion's body is filled with explosive power. Just standing in front of this kind of life can feel the suffocating pressure. Facing a giant wolf dog that is more than 1 meter tall and weighs more than 100 pounds, one can feel the pressure of the beast. The pressure brought by this fantasy life weighing 3 or 4 tons makes it almost difficult to breathe. Lear's eyes felt a little hot. This may be the charm of this world, extraordinary life that does not exist on Earth. At this moment, he felt that riding a griffin and galloping through the sky gave him a greater sense of accomplishment than riding a goddess. Philena seemed to have thought of something and turned to look at Lear, somewhat surprised to find that this young man who had not yet condensed the seeds of magic power not only did not tremble in fear under the oppression of the griffin, instead, a different kind of light shone in his eyes. It's like seeing a long-awaited toy. A griffin, a ferocious creature that is a killing machine on the battlefield, is treated as a toy by an ordinary person. Eyes narrowed slightly, she was a little confused as to where the other party got such confidence. "Go ahead, Wrecker." The knight with the silver helmet raised his head high, like a general returning from a victorious battle. Under the envious gaze of all the soldiers, he turned over and mounted the ferocious magical creature. The body of the griffin lion kicked the ground violently, its wings beating wildly. The cyclone exploded, causing debris to fly and vegetation to shake wildly. The lift of the air current made this giant creature rise quickly into the sky. Chirp. After a crisp eagle cry, it disappeared into the air. Philena looked at Lear with a somewhat thoughtful look and said softly, "I don't know your name yet." "Lil Ayres, say hello to His Highness." Lear put his right hand on his shoulder and signaled with the noble greeting again. Els. This surname is very unfamiliar to someone who would become a pioneer lord, and he would know a thing or two about it. It must be that the ancestors were glorious in the past, but as for what they are like now, just look at the clothes on the other person's body and you will know. Philena nodded. "Your Excellency Lear, can you sell the lava fruit seedlings in your hands to me? I have new research that I need to use recently. It takes 20 years for lava fruit to grow from seedlings to fruiting. During this period, it needs continuous cultivation. This is still the shortest time. You can also go to someone later and ask if that's the case." After finishing speaking, he added another sentence. "Of course, I will pay you enough. That it takes 20 years to bear fruit." The corner of Lear's mouth twitched. By the time this thing was grown, the day lily was already cold. Only the top nobles with a history of thousands of years have the time and energy to cultivate it slowly. "Of course I trust His Highness. If necessary, I will sell them to your Highness together." As he spoke, he separated the 12 mud-covered lava fruit seedlings from the saplings, passed it over. When the surrounding soldiers saw this scene, their eyes turned green. Philena was also a little stunned when she saw this scene. He smiled and reached out his hand to take the muddy seedling without any hesitation. The white fingers formed a sharp contrast with the black mud-covered saplings. The next moment, the originally wilting sapling seemed to have been gifted by the bud goddess and stood upright, visible to the naked eye, full of life. Tomorrow morning will be the time for the next group of pioneer knights to choose to develop their territory. After your excellency Lear has chosen the territory, how about I reward you? When the time comes, you will be satisfied. Lear narrowed his eyes slightly. As it should be. After responding, he said softly. However, I am quite short of money at the moment. Can I borrow 100 gold coins from His Highness for an emergency? That the soldiers who were observing silently were stunned for a moment, feeling like they were deaf. Is this guy asking Her Highness the Princess to borrow money? A down-and-out nobleman who jumped out of nowhere, a bastard who crawled out of the slums, just handed a filthy sapling to His Highness. How dare he borrow money from his own princess without any shame? Such filthy things are also used to insult the princess. They feel that their goddess is being defiled. Damn it! Philena was helpless by Lear. As the princess of Lowland City and a level 16 archmage, she has met a lot of strange people, but this was the first time she met someone who asked her to borrow money. What kind of brain is this? He waved to the maid behind him, dumbfounded. Jasmine, get 100 gold coins for Mr. Lear. As he spoke, he glanced at him with a half-smile. Do you have any other requests? Lear praised it greatly. Your Highness is generous. Atmosphere. Admirable. Philena laughed. As long as you are satisfied, you can come see me again after you get the assigned territory tomorrow. He said and looked at the maid behind him. I will explain, and someone will take you into the manor when the time comes. Lear nodded. Then thank you in advance, Your Highness. At this moment, the blonde maid named Jasmine came forward, took out a cloth bag from somewhere, and handed it to Lear. Here are 100 gold coins. Lear reached out and took it, opened it and checked to make sure it was correct, then put it in his bag. Seeing the other party's unscrupulous look, Philena smiled. This guy, after getting the startup capital, Lear didn't want to stay any longer. He said goodbye and left directly after saying a few polite words. Philena and the maid beside her watched Lear disappear from sight so cleanly, and they felt inexplicably. Could this guy just come to get these 100 gold coins? The two of them looked at each other, both a little funny, and didn't know how to describe their inner emotions. Standing in front of you is the eldest princess of Lowland City. She can't ask for anything, but gold coins. Lear achieved his goal and didn't bother to pay attention to what others thought. He had also inquired about the prices of lava fruit tree seedlings before coming here. These 12 plants were sold elsewhere and could be sold for more than 30 gold coins. Another news, blue crystal grass, can be sold for 50 gold coins, which is not bad. He originally did not expect that His Highness would give him any additional gains. This 100 gold coins has exceeded the budgeted income. Just give it up when it's good. Even if you make less money, you will never lose money. The smart gambler does not have an excellent hand, but knows when to leave the gambling table. The smartest thing is to never go to the gambling table, but now he has no choice but to do it himself. As for the supplies that Philena promised him, it was an extra bonus. The huge profits earned from the 2-star news enriched his wallet in just half a day. Can 2 pieces of information worth 1 star be used? Lear shook his head. There were no channels. These 2 values were indeed limited. While thinking, he looked at the 5th piece of 6-star golden information. Swamp Godhead. On the morning of July 8th, it's time for dragons to appear all over the world. Chapter 6 Swamp Godhead. You are listening at novelfull.audio. July 8, 8775 of the glorious era. The morning mist enveloped the entire city of Loran, and the air was slightly chilly. Lear, wearing a black cloak that covered his face and only revealed his eyes, slowly stepped into the most dangerous area of the 9th district, Black Market. Whether it is some big figures in the underground world or the noble lords who are high above, there will be things that are not allowed to see the light and need to be dealt with secretly, because of the strength of Loran City. The black market in the 9th district is famous even in the entire northern province. No matter what goods come here, they can be easily sold. The black market opens every 3 days. Every time it attracts a large number of sellers and buyers, and even speculators who come from thousands of miles away. The craziest thing is that the place that can generate huge wealth transactions is hidden in the poorest slums. This has to be said to be a great irony. Perhaps slums are qualified to exist because of this. The black market is built in the ruins of an old building, and there are few intact buildings. Once the black market is closed, this place will be a ghost town with no one, but now people are coming and going, and there is a sea of heads everywhere. More than half of them are like Lear, hiding their faces in various ways. There are all kinds of stalls on both sides of the road, but there are very few people shouting, and they all silently wait in front of the stalls, waiting for buyers to ask for prices. Lear turned his head and looked at the stalls, which were full of dazzling things, unknown minerals, broken teeth of beasts, sharp swords, potions emitting magic fluctuations, half-elf slaves tied with chains, and even he saw 20 sets of high-level full-body armor engraved with the emblem of the Griffin Empire Royal Legion on a stall. This thing can be sold openly. At this moment, Lear directly saw the wildness of the black market, but he didn't waste any more time and began to look for his target. On the morning of July 8th, when the sun just rises, it will be sold at the 23rd stall at the entrance of the black market. This is the 17th stall, Lear thought in his mind, and came to the 23rd stall. In front of him, an old man with a broken right arm and gray hair sat on a small stool, with colorful oars in front of him. Is this a tomb robber? Lear could not see any traces, and it was difficult to connect these oars with tomb robbery. Who would bury oars in a grave for no reason? Well, except for the dwarves, but there is only this one entrance to the entire black market. He silently bent down and began to search for the crystal ball. The old man with a broken arm saw Lear's action, just glanced at him, did not speak, and still carefully rubbed the inky black ore in his hand. Lear was also happy to be quiet, but the stall was so small, there were only 30 or 40 oars, and it would not take long to look through them, and there was no trace of the crystal ball at all. He looked at the old man and was about to speak. At this moment, a warm sun pierced through the mist in the sky. It lit up the entire city of Loran. An orange-red sun appeared in sight. The sun rose. At the same time, 3 men in ragged clothes, carrying large leather bags and smelling of mud, came to Lear's side. The dull-faced and thin man in the middle had a 7-color bamboo dragonfly inserted diagonally on his backpack. The crooked appearance was quite childish. In this gray-black market, it looked very strange. The 3 of them didn't say anything. They looked at the empty space on the side and directly stretched out a yellow dirty cloth and spread it on the ground. He opened the backpack behind him and began to take out items clumsily. The man carrying the 7-color bamboo dragonfly slowly took out a yellow crystal ball from his backpack. Lear's pupils shrank sharply. Turning his head, he saw that this group of people had inserted themselves in front of the ore stall and became the 23rd stall. He took a deep breath, suppressed his inner emotions, moved his steps, and said softly, "Everyone, can you take a look at these things?" That the 3 of them immediately looked up at Lear, and only a pair of dark eyes could be seen under the cloak. The dull-looking man put the crystal ball slightly aside and said in a muffled voice, "Of course, but if you are not going to buy it, please take it lightly. This thing is a bit old." Looking at some items with the soil still not dry, Lear nodded. "That's natural. Even the standard armor of the Royal Legion of the Griffin Empire is sold. Things dug out from the tomb are not rare." From inside to outside, one by one, he checked it. After 10 minutes, he slowly held the crystal ball. It was the size of a fist, with the coldness of a rock. The surface was covered with scratches and traces that were difficult to clean after being buried underground for a long time. His eyes were a little subtle. Who would have thought that such an inconspicuous thing would hide a godhood that was enough to drive the world crazy? After carefully studying it for a moment, he casually put it down. He checked other objects. The 3 of them didn't care. This thing was for sale. If you like it, everything will be fine. However, it was obvious that this guy just happened to come across it and took a look. They didn't have much hope of selling it. It would be nice to have someone to gather people's attention. After almost going through all the objects on the stall, Lear tentatively picked up an ivory bowl. "What price are you willing to pay for this one?" that the thin and dull man said in a low voice. 10 gold coins, no bargaining." Lear held up the second piece. "Then this ivory cup. 12 gold coins are the same price." After asking 7 or 8 questions, he pointed lightly. "This crystal ball. 10 gold coins." That when the price was spoken, Lear's eyes were fixed. After asking about the prices of several more items, he hesitated and chose 7. Finally, he reluctantly put back 4 items, leaving 3 items. "Guys, I buy 3 pieces at one time, can I get some discount?" but when the dull man saw Lear really looking like he was buying, his face became a little more lively and no longer looked like a dead tree. Even the one-armed old man selling or turned his head and took a look. We sacrificed our lives to get these. The price is always the same, but if you buy it sincerely, I will give you 28 gold coins for these 3 pieces. Lear's eyes moved slightly and he said seriously. How about 20 silver coins? Make a friend. The man's expression changed when he looked at Lear. This guy was not bargaining for a price, he was here to behead someone. Impossible, this is an absolutely impossible price we risk our lives to get. He had to do a good job in acting, and after a lot of intensive bargaining, Lear finally bought 3 ancient things that had just been dug out of the tomb for 20 gold coins. The yellow crystal ball is among them. Both parties are very satisfied with the transaction, only the old man selling the ore had some regret in his eyes. He had known that this was someone who had been taken advantage of, so he had introduced him. Who knew this guy was so easy to deceive? Lear put away a few items, and suddenly saw the unique colorful bamboo dragonfly on the opponent's backpack out of the corner of his eye. After hesitating for a moment, he said slowly. Your Excellency, can this bamboo dragonfly bear the pain of parting with you? The man was stunned for a moment, then silently took off the bamboo dragonfly, with a slight smile on his face. My daughter gave this to me this morning. If you like it, I will give it to you. Daughter? Lear was silent. In this world of cannibalism, no one has an unspeakable situation behind them. Thank you for your generosity. Holding the childlike colorful bamboo dragonfly in his hand, Lear slowly walked out of the black market, his face calm, but his mood was turbulent. Swamp Godhead, the most core thing of the gods. The most precious treasure in the world is in his hands at this moment. This is enough to drive anyone crazy. The corners of the mouth under the hood were slightly raised, and then gradually widened until they were crazy. In just 2 days, he already had Wang Jia. Chapter 7 New Information. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The moment Lear walked out of the black market and left the 9th block, the intelligence system in his mind suddenly moved. You have completed 6-star intelligence, obtained the key item, Swamp Godhead. Triggered 3 additional related intelligences. Note, each time you complete 4-star intelligence or above, you can trigger additional related intelligences. 1. Dropping blood on the crystal ball can allow the Godhead to completely integrate into the soul. Note, when integrating into the Godhead, you will fall asleep for 10 hours, so please pay attention to your own safety. 2. Tomorrow morning, the territory of the Pioneer Lord will be allocated. You can choose the Silt Swamp as your territory. There is a part of the swamp authority hidden in it. Controlling this part of authority can greatly increase the power of the Godhead. 3. The second area of the slave market, the 13th shop. The 13th shop, the Dragon Fong Chamber of Commerce, will sell 2 squadrons of wetland lizardmen tomorrow afternoon. The level is 6th level primary night. The wetland lizardmen are brutal by nature. The slave traders can no longer tolerate this, and they need to get rid of them quickly. They can be bought at a price far below the market price. After buying this batch of slaves, they can use the swamp godhood to directly subdue these swamp creatures as the initial army to open up the territory. Lear looked at the refreshed information in his mind with surprise. Completing the information above 4 stars, can also trigger additional related information. This is absolutely amazing. Look carefully. The first one is about the information on controlling authority. After controlling the godhood, you will fall asleep for 10 hours. This key information made him certain. He also made extra preparations. Now that he has accurate information, he doesn't have to be so nervous. The second point is that choosing the Silt Swamp as the territory also hides a part of the swamp authority. He was moved. This information is worth at least 5 stars. Godhead is the carrier of the power of the gods, while authority is the concrete manifestation of the power of the gods. Getting the Godhead is like getting a container with nothing in it, and authority is the water that fills the container. If you only have the Godhead but no authority, you cannot exert the power of the gods. If you only have authority but no Godhead, you cannot control authority. Both are indispensable. The selection of the territory tomorrow will be done by many pioneering lords together, and they must not let others get ahead. He is determined to take the silt swamp. In the excitement, he looked at the last one. There are level 6 wetland lizard slaves in the slave market, and the other party will sell them at a price far below the market price, and the Godhead can be used to completely subdue these lives. This information is not as valuable as the swamp authority, but it is also not cheap. Now he only has a few dozen gold coins in his hand, becoming a pioneer. Lord, the empire will support some materials, but the most fundamental thing is to prepare it yourself. Moreover, not to mention that those pioneering materials may be allocated and embezzled at any time, that he can't even get together the most basic pioneering team now, 2 squadrons, that is 200 people, and they are level 6 beginner knights. This force is nothing for the huge city of Loran, but it is very good for ordinary pioneering lords. The normal price of a level 6 beginner knight is at least hundreds of gold coins. This news made him see the possibility of paying the full price. If not, then go to Jibbe, Her Highness Philena, and borrow some more. Everyone is so familiar with each other, it shouldn't be difficult to borrow some. Right? The additional refreshed information has no value, but it is very important. Go to the central square, Rose House. The driver immediately became respectful when he heard the name. Sir, please. Rose House is the top hotel in Loran City, where all kinds of nobles stay. The most ordinary room costs as much as 1 gold coin a day. It is said that there are also high-end suites, and each day of stay requires 10 gold coins, 10 gold coins. He worked hard for a year, but he could only earn 6 gold coins. Even if you work hard for a year without eating or drinking, you can't afford to stay for a night. Half an hour later, the carriage stopped in front of a spacious and elegant building. The colorful floating glass is dazzling, and the exquisite reliefs on the wall are obviously the work of a master. The pure white angel statues stand on both sides of the gate, exuding a faint sacred majesty. The priests of the sect have engraved magic on them, which can distinguish evil lives such as demons and vampires. On the wide lawn, clusters of roses are in full bloom, full of vitality. The staff in uniform greeted and sent off respectfully, all of which showed their luxury. Lear got off the car, and was greeted by the doorman. He entered calmly and passed through the luxurious and spacious hall. Stepping on the elevator built by the dwarves, he slowly went up to the 10th floor. After telling the staff in the corridor who were waiting for orders at any time that he was going to rest and not to be disturbed, and hanging up the "Do Not Disturb" wooden sign, he entered the house, locked the door and drew the curtains. After taking off the cloak, Lear breathed a sigh of relief. After hearing the news about the sale of the lava fruit saplings and blue crystal grass, he came to live in the Rose House. This most luxurious hotel in Loran City is owned by Philena, the flower of the North. The Grand Duke's mansion is about a kilometer away in front. The guard force in this area is more than 10 times that of other areas. The Rose House is definitely one of the safest areas in Loran City. The 9th district is too chaotic. There was no choice before, but at this moment, with an infinite future, it is stupid to put oneself in an uncertain and harsh environment. Place the 3 items on the table. Lear ignored the other 2 items and stared at the crystal ball with stubborn stains. His emotions gradually rose. He took another look at the 2 pieces of information before and after. This is the broken Godhead of the Swamp God. You can control this part of the Swamp Godhead by dripping blood on the crystal. Dropping blood on the crystal ball can make the Godhead completely integrated into the soul. When it is integrated into the Godhead, you will fall asleep for 10 hours. Bite your index finger and drip blood on the crystal ball in pain. The blood fell into the crystal ball. It was as if a switch was pressed, and the light was shining. The dim room was as bright as day. A strange energy began to surge. The energy did not radiate, but circulated around the crystal ball. The blood was like a fuse, guiding the energy to surge in. Lear only felt a surging, sacred, majestic, and starry energy suddenly infused into his body. His soul was also cleansed at this moment. The energy was so overwhelming that it fell into a deep sleep after reaching a certain limit. The crystal ball was like a sun that never stopped, continuously infusing energy, sacred, majestic, and untouchable. It lasted for 5 hours before slowly subsiding. Finally, the crystal ball completely extinguished, fell from his hand, and fell on the bed. There was no more energy flowing in the room. At this moment, no one knew that Lear's soul was undergoing an amazing transformation. Chapter 8: Soul Baptism, Transformation and Promotion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know how long it took, but Lear felt in a daze that every cell in his body had undergone transformation. Deep in my soul, I feel fuller than ever before. It was like a person who had been thirsty for 10 days in the desert finally drank clean water. After a long time, he slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, an unprecedented energy surged in the body, concentrating on perception. An energy vortex exuding faint blue power quietly emerged in his mind, like an energy vortex swallowing everything on the sea. One word immediately emerged: the seed of magic. He condensed the magic seed. He became a mage. Lear was pleasantly surprised. Finally stepped into the extraordinary path. Extraordinary, this world's only and most direct channel for advancement. What's more important is that if you continue to grow extraordinary, you will eventually be able to destroy a city by one person, cut off mountains and open seas with your bare hands, and possess supreme power. Things that can only exist in fantasy on Earth can be done in this fantasy world. The mood suddenly rose. The seed of life is the knight's transcendent path, which will be condensed in the heart, and the seeds of magic, which are the magician's extraordinary ways, will gather in the mind. The two are not the same, but they are equally transcendent. Taking a deep breath, I sensed it again. Suddenly I found that in the center of the vortex of the magic seed, a broken, light blue crystal was floating in the magic power swamp Godhead. The moment he sensed the Godhead, a panel quietly appeared in Lear's mind. Lil Heirs, identity, Pioneer Lord. Territory none yet, level, trainee mage, level 3, magic, 300, potential, 2 stars, promotion progress, 1%. Level limit 9. Racial talent, learning, you can learn the knowledge of any race. Skill, wetland touch, 1 star, can grow, casts an energy containing vitality, covering a 3 by 3 meter area, which can speed up the recovery of injuries, and can restore up to 15% of the health value. The recovery effect of the cast on the swamp people's life is increased to 30%. The residual power of the gods, 1 star, can grow, exudes the residual power of the swamp god, which will shock the target. If the shock is successful, it will leave a mark on its soul and surrender forever. The worse the target's condition, the weaker the resistance, and the higher the success rate. If the shock fails, the opponent will fall into rage and attack back. Godhead, swamp, 10%. Authority, not in control. Evaluation, the fate of a lord who has taken control of the swamp Godhead has quietly changed. His detailed attributes are displayed above. Is this an additional function of the intelligence system activated? Lear was very excited. After this, he could understand his own power more intuitively. Looking further, he has not awakened any power before, but in just 10 hours, he has directly become a level 3 trainee mage, and he also gained 2 growth-producing skills, wetland touch and God's remaining power. Lear felt the movement of the magic seed and was in a wonderful mood. This feeling is so comfortable. But the important gain is the Godhead. With concentration, the broken glass ball object in the center of the magic seed exudes a faint blue light and unspeakable pressure. It's like an ancient god was conceived in it, the broken Godhead of the swamp god. This broken Godhead has 10% weight. In the future, when the remaining fragments of the Godhead are gathered together, he will become a true god. Get to the top of this world. He slowly stood up, opened the curtains, and looked out the window. At this moment, the sun is slowly setting in the west, and the afterglow of the setting sun is shining on half of the sky. The colorful sunset is as gorgeous as being burned by flames. The majestic, prosperous and majestic city flows in the eyes. Lear could hear his own heartbeat beating loudly and powerfully. The corners of his mouth curled up, and then gradually became arrogant and wanton. Stretch out your right hand and slowly tighten it towards the front. At this moment, the whole world is in your hands. The next day, July 9th. This is an inconspicuous day among countless days and nights, but it is an extremely important day for the pioneer lords who are about to go to the wilderness to occupy new lands for the kingdom, because today, they will choose their own territory to develop and at the same time distribute development materials. For nobles with family support, these supplies are better than nothing, but for the down-and-out nobles, this resource is a matter of life and death. At 9 o'clock in the morning, carriages stopped at the east entrance of the Grand Duke's residence. This is the center of Loran City's government affairs. An administrative agency composed of thousands of government officials handles all affairs of Loran City efficiently here. Some government orders can even directly affect the situation in the northern province. Today's pioneer lords have gathered in one of the spacious halls as instructed. When Lear arrived, there were hundreds of people in the house. Twos and threes gathered together to talk, however. They were all restrained and did not make any loud noises. Lear put on a black noble robe, engraved with the mark of a golden one-way flower. This was the only thing that the original man was reluctant to sell, the last thing left for him by the heir's family. The golden wanhua is the coat of arms of the heir's family. Before inheriting the title, he was even deprived of the qualification to wear clothing engraved with the family crest, a privilege that only nobles could enjoy. If you are found pretending to be a noble, or wearing clothes with noble emblems without authorization, according to the imperial law, you will be severely punished. At the least, half of your property will be confiscated, and at the worst, you will be exiled. In order to maintain their class privileges, the nobles who control power are firm and cold-blooded. There are hundreds of people in the room, and everyone holds their chests high, showing their family emblems. Even if they are in a bad state, they cannot fall from the glory of the nobility. Lear saw that the ceremony had not yet begun, and found an empty seat to sit down. As soon as his butt touched the stool, two nobles wearing pure white noble robes, long golden hair draped over their shoulders, and holding their heads high also sat on one side. Both of them had a bit of arrogance on their faces, ignoring others, and chatted by themselves. The slightly older one had some emotion. Every year before the pioneer lord sets out, the Grand Duke will appoint his confidants to bless and encourage him. 5 years ago, the Grand Duke even came in person. I really envy those guys for being able to meet a legendary figure like the Grand Duke. That's the most powerful extraordinary person in my northern territory. 100 years ago, he killed an adult dragon with his bare hands, the younger one said proudly. When we build a town in the occupied wilderness, the Grand Duke will naturally summon us. The other party nodded in appreciation. That's true. But it is said that this year, Princess Philena may come to encourage and practice. The tone of voice was a bit fanatical. Flower of the North, Loran rose. What an honor it would be to be awarded by her personally. The young noble's eyes also lit up. I heard that no suitor has been able to gain the favor of His Highness. If we can be noticed by His Highness, it would be worth it even if we die. Lear listened silently, with a subtle look in his eyes. Jibbe, Philena, the eldest daughter of the Grand Duke, is really a goddess in the eyes of ordinary people. He didn't feel anything about the other party's status. The only thing that made him curious was what kind of reward this princess of Lowland City would pay. She is already a goddess, so she can't be any worse. Suddenly, the discussion of the crowd gradually disappeared until it was completely quiet. Lear noticed something strange and immediately turned his head to look. At the main entrance, a beautiful figure wearing a luxurious embroidered white tassel dress and pure black hollow printed gloves on both hands slowly walked in. The flaxen long hair behind the head seemed to float in the water. Without gravity fluctuations, her appearance was exquisite and flawless, and her eyes were deep and blue like the purest gem, which made people addicted. Every move was elegant and classical, pleasing to the eye. Wherever she passed, it was like spring flowers blooming and the breeze blowing on her face, like the warm sun in winter. It was soul-stirring, it gave people an extremely beautiful reverie. Your Highness Philena. These pioneering lords just woke up from their dreams. They excitedly held their chests and bowed. Kowtowed to this flower of the north, the star of the empire, used the most humble attitude to express the truest feelings in their hearts. The two noble descendants who were as proud as peacocks were so excited that their faces flushed at this moment. They knelt on one knee, as if they wanted to climb up and kiss the path each other had walked. That posture made Lear amazed. Step by step, the beautiful figure passed through the crowd and saw Lear standing calmly. Their eyes met. Lear gently pressed his right hand on his shoulder and lowered his head slightly, a standard noble greeting. Philena showed a little smile in her eyes, and also gently touched her shoulder with her right hand and returned the greeting. As for the others, they all performed the etiquette of subordinates or even servants. As a venerable, she only needed to nod. Only her companions were qualified to let her return the gift. Good day, Lord Lil Els. Hearing the other party speak up, Lil nodded gently. Good day, Her Highness Philena. The two noble descendants who were kneeling on one knee below suddenly raised their heads and looked at Lil beside them. Their eyes were full of astonishment. Who was the other party? Why did the goddess personally greet him? Their solemn nightly salute could not attract the other party to look at them more. The two of them inexplicably felt that they were like funny clowns in a circus. The nightly etiquette that symbolized glory became extremely awkward. Chapter 9. If there is no one, then I will be the first. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Philena's simple greeting made Lear's thin figure the focus of the whole audience. However, neither of them took the gazes of others seriously. As a 16th-level archmage, the glory of the empire, and the princess of Loran City, Philena was the focus of everyone's attention wherever she went. She was the absolute protagonist and focus. The gazes of these pioneering lords were worthless, and Lear had enough confidence, whether it was the intelligence system or the Godhead. After integrating the Godhead, his state of mind had undergone a transformation. Even an outstanding flower of the north like Philena could not make waves in his heart. Elegantly coming to the high platform in the hall, Philena's deep eyes like gems slowly scanned the crowd. The voice was neither slow nor fast. From weak to strong, until it was sonorous and powerful. The Griffin Empire was established in ruins. It has been passed down for more than 2,000 years. Our ancestors have made great contributions to the empire. They have shed blood for the empire. Everyone has a glorious past and has left an indelible mark in history. No matter how long we have been in ruins, no matter whether we are old and dilapidated, we will never forget the glorious past. Today, everyone will regain the glory and honor of the past and embark on the road to conquer the wilderness. No matter success or failure, when you stand in front of me and are willing to bear the honor of the nobility, you are already the winner. Cowardly death or glorious bloom. You have made your choice. Heroes of the Griffin Empire, people of Loran City. I am proud of you. The clear and firm voice, at this moment, is like a shot of adrenaline, hitting everyone's heart. Being praised generously by such a dazzling goddess, each of them was so excited that their faces flushed and their blood boiled. They wanted to rush into the wilderness and open up their territory immediately. They were praised by the goddess as heroes. Yes, heroes. It was as if at this moment, they had successfully opened up their territory and returned with honor. Lear's eyes moved slightly. It is difficult to understand this emotion without being in this environment and experiencing the life of a down-and-out noble. Next, please choose the territory to be opened up by the pioneer lords. You can open up the territory alone or together. The territory that already has an owner or has been chosen cannot be chosen again. The purpose of recruiting pioneer lords is to open up the wilderness and occupy land for the empire, not for internal fighting, so when planning, disputes will be avoided as much as possible. The wilderness is extremely dangerous, and a single pioneer lord cannot complete it, so they can also form a group to open up the territory. This is often the best choice for those down-and-out nobles. If one person can't do it, then 2, 5 or even 10 people can form a group, right? In this way, many pioneer lords have successfully established their territories. However, this also means that one's power must be shared with others, and whether it is good or bad depends on personal choice. The areas that have been selected for development can only be selected again if they cannot build towns after 5 years. The developed territories are of vital importance to you all. Please consider carefully before making a choice. The voice fell. Philena waved slightly. Majestic magic power surged out. A light blue magic map image emerged behind her. Mountains, rivers, grass, trees, and gravel are all on it. The rivers flow slowly, and the grass and trees drift in the wind, full of vitality and lifelike. This is a wilderness map, drawn by the continuous exploration of Loran City for thousands of years. There will be updates every year. The green areas that have been circled are the areas that the reclamation lords are reclaiming or the areas that have not expired within the 5-year period. They cannot be selected. The remaining areas are left for you to choose. Looking around, there are 200 or 300 scattered green areas. Half of them show town icons. Compared with the huge map, it is inconspicuous. This alone shows the risks faced by pioneering lords. The city of Loran was established for 1,000 years, and during this period, a large number of pioneering lords went to the wilderness every year. but in such a long time, only 100 territories were established steadily. Among them, most of them are small towns with thousands or tens of thousands of people. Moreover, most of them are within 300 to 500 kilometers from Loran city, far from the wilderness. Many people realized this, and the excitement in their eyes gradually cooled down, but more people saw the icons of the towns above, and their eyes were full of heat. They knew that several cities even had a population of more than 200,000. Those nobles who established territories enjoyed the power to cover the sky with one hand. And Loran city, the largest city in the northern province, the pride of the Griffin Empire, was also founded in the wilderness by the first generation of the Loran family 1,000 years ago. The other party is the first generation of pioneering lords. The example of the role model is always inspiring them to move forward. They will also occupy a place in it. Now, you can start making your choice. Today is your time. After the words fell, a voice rang out in the crowd. Your Highness, I have made my choice. The crowd immediately turned to look at the person who made the voice. He was wearing a black robe, heroic and extraordinary, with a golden phoenix tail flower emblem engraved on his chest. It was that young man again. Philena looked at the slightly thin but calm figure. Her eyes moved slightly. Sir Lil Els, your choice is. Lil pointed to the only marked area on the map. Mud Swamp. After the word was spoken, everyone looked at the map, and then there was a commotion. Mud Swamp? Ah. That area is at least more than 1,000 kilometers away from Loran city. It takes more than half a month to get there. How dare he? Don't want to die. Philena was also a little strange. Sir, I have to remind you. So far, no one has established a territory thousands of miles away from the wilderness. The danger in the depths of the wilderness is beyond imagination. Lil said slowly. If no one, then I will be the first. On the wilderness, only this swamp hides power. Entering the swamp is like a dragon entering the sea and a tiger going up the mountain forest. From then on, the sky is high and the birds fly, and the sea is wide and the fish jump. As soon as the voice fell, the faces of the people in the room changed again. A bit of respect rose in his eyes, regardless of the other party's true purpose and thoughts. This is so damn inspiring. Isn't that what we pioneer lords do? If there is no one, then we will be the first. If you don't have this courage, how can you become a pioneer lord? Those who can be greeted by His Highness are indeed extraordinary people. Philena's eyes moved slightly and she looked at him deeply. Sir Lear, your courage is admirable. From the beginning, the other party was full of firmness and strong self-confidence. She could feel that it was not arrogance, the arrogance of looking down on the wilderness, but the confidence emanating from the depths of his heart. That kind of power is quite contagious. She couldn't figure out why the descendant of a noble family that had already failed and lived in the slums was so confident. At this moment, a rare expectation rose. Chapter 10 Generous Gifts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After choosing the territory to be developed, Lear did not stay for too long. After nodding to Philena, he turned and left the hall. In the afternoon, there will be wetland lizardmen for sale, which is the power he needs for development. Tomorrow is July 10th, and there will be new information refreshed, which makes him full of expectations. But just after leaving the hall, Jasmine, the maid who drove for Philena in Rose Manor, stopped him. Lord Lear, please follow me to the side hall. His Highness summons you. The other party's long golden hair shines like the sun, which is impressive. Is this Philena's return gift? Lear became interested and followed the other party into another smaller side hall. Sit down and make tea. After waiting for a moment, a figure with elegant and classical gestures walked in slowly, and the long hair of the Amazon color floated in the air, mysterious and unpredictable. Lord Lear, I've been waiting for a long time. Lear looked at this beautiful woman respected by countless people. Your Highness seems to have something important to tell you. Philena came up to him and looked at him with interest. Sir Lear, you still owe me 100 gold coins. Are you going to leave without saying a few more words? That was the money I borrowed with my own ability. Lear was justified. We are all friends. When I expand the territory and make money, I will pay you back double. Friends? Philena laughed. It's really my honor. After joking for a few words, she continued without waiting for him to speak. Your Excellency's choice of the mud swamp is indeed a bit beyond my expectation. But I think it is a choice after careful consideration, so I won't say much. The blue crystal grass was taken back yesterday, she said with gratitude on her face. This is the magic plant I need for promotion. Your Excellency helped me a lot. Things needed for promotion. No wonder he is so eager. Lear understood it now, however. The other party is already a level 16 archmage, and he still wants to be promoted? Isn't this going to level 17? This is a real genius. Your Highness lent me 100 gold coins and helped me a lot. We are even. The other party got the promotion, so did he. What he got was 100 times and 1,000 times higher. Philena smiled. Sir Lear, you can't calculate it like this. I sent someone to understand your situation, so I specially prepared some supplies for you. I hope it can help you. Jasmine. After the voice fell, the blonde maid stepped forward and handed him a list with a long list of supplies, food, farm tools, ironware, etc., a total of 30 carriages with scattered supplies. In addition, there is a highlight, 1,000 gold coins in cash, 200 sets of standard armor of the Loran City Guard Corps, plus 100 slave craftsmen. After reading the list carefully, Lear took a deep look at this Loran rose. This gift is too heavy. Philena noticed his gaze and smiled. Are you satisfied, Lord Lear? These supplies are fine. The most expensive are the 200 sets of armor. Ordinary standard armor costs as much as 20 gold coins per set, and ordinary people can only afford it if they work for 4 or 5 years without eating or drinking. 200 sets are worth 4,000 gold coins. A worker has to work for 800 years. Your Highness, I will remember this favor. Hearing this, Philena blinked. Aren't we friends? Why be so polite? Lear stared at the other party for a moment and suddenly smiled. Then let's meet again, Lear Els, say hello to you, Philena Loran. Hearing this, the maid next to him changed her face slightly. How can ordinary people call the noble prince by his name? But Philena keenly sensed the sincerity, inexplicably felt a little honored in her heart. Crazy. Would she feel honored to be recognized by a descendant of a fallen noble? It was such an inexplicable emotion, but her eyes softened. Philena Loran, hello, Lil Els. She didn't know why the other party was so confident. Since yesterday, she has never been timid in front of her, even though she still lives in a slum like the 9th block. But the confidence that emanates from the other party from the inside out is not fake, so she has a unique demeanor and charm. She has seen countless outstanding people, so she will not have any boring heartbeats because of this. But she is still looking forward to the other party's actions in the wilderness. I hope you can. Show your trump card and let me see what is supporting your soul. Don't let me down. Thinking, Philena seemed to think of something, and waved her hand, and a small and exquisite wooden cage appeared out of thin air in her hand. There was a fat grey worm eating green leaves inside, just like a cabbage worm. He handed the cage to Lear, speaking in a subtle tone. Sir Lear, this is a strange creature I accidentally found in an ancient ruins before, the swamp mudworm. This creature is very suitable for breeding in swamps. Lear said that when the swamp mudworm grows up, it can prey on dragons. However, it seems that it has been sleeping in the ruins for too long. I fed it a lot of magic plants, but it couldn't replenish its essence. Perhaps it will recover after entering the swamp. Swamp mudworm. As a testimony of our friendship, I present it to you. Lear reached out to take it, looking at the little finger-sized worm, quite surprised. This little thing can prey on dragons when it grows up. It is indeed a fantasy world. It is not reasonable at all. As for what the other party said, it is not big to feed. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Swamp Godhead controls the life of the swamp. Thank you for your kindness, Your Highness. He took out something from his arms with a bit of heartache and looked at the other party seriously. Your Highness is so generous, I naturally can't be stingy. This is my most beloved thing. I present it to Your Highness as a testimony of friendship. Philena and the maid behind her looked together, only to see a crooked, childish and colorful bamboo dragonfly in his hand. The maid was stunned. Just like this? Your Highness gave so many things, and you used this thing to fool your Highness. Philena took it seriously, looked at the crooked colorful bamboo dragonfly, and smiled. The room was like spring flowers blooming, the winter sun was warm, the air was bright, and people felt infinite beauty. She put it away solemnly and said seriously, I accept your gift. It's the first time someone has given me such a special gift. The 3 slender white fingers of her right hand were slowly placed on her eyebrows, and slightly raised to the sky. May the goddess be with you forever. She looked deeply at this boy who was a little thin, but had an extraordinary demeanor and deep eyes. I hope you can come back alive from the wilderness, my friend. There are more than 2 million words of exquisite novels. Global Lord, becoming a desert lord is more exciting, and those who like lord novels can try it.